we're psyched to be joined by Capitals goalie Charlie Lindgren. He's a Minnesota guy, a St. Cloud State guy. We'll get into all that stuff. But Charlie, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, so we're recording this on Monday. You're 2 days out. That was on Saturday, right?
Yep.
Outdoor game.
Yep.
Caps Canes at NC State's football stadium. I know you haven't had that experience in your NHL career, but had you had experience playing in front of like a decent sized crowd on ice or outside, or was that your first go at it?
So just looking back at my career, last year I was with St. Louis during the Winter Classic in Minnesota, which was cool for me. Just obviously being from, growing up 15 minutes away from Target Field.
I got bad info on that. I wasn't sure if you were on the roster or not.
I didn't start or back up, so I was in the locker room watching. I got I think it was the next day I got sent down, but that was really cool. Obviously, my family being able to come to the family skate. Actually, my wife had COVID, so she missed it, but my parents were able to come, and so that was cool. But other than that, like biggest audience I played in front of, probably nothing more than the standard NHL rink. Right. I don't think.
Right.
So certainly, that was pretty cool. Like looking out in the stands and seeing, I think they said 58,000. I believe was the attendance.
We talked to Don Waddell actually in the run up to it last week, and I think he was saying like 57 or 58 was going to be where they clocked in at.
Yep. So that was great. Like just the atmosphere was unbelievable. I'm a fan of country music too, and so Jake Owen, he was even playing during the TV stoppages in the first period, which was a little unique. But I got to enjoy that a little bit, and then in the locker room I could hear him playing a little bit in the intermission.
That's awesome. I saw they brought you guys in on the bus because you made you guys got the hero exit on a Twitter video coming out of the bus. But did you get a vibe pregame of what was going on in the lots? I mean, we've heard a lot about the college football tailgating environment and all that stuff there. I mean, it gets. I'm sure people in Carolina are tired of hearing about it, honestly. But that is a big part of it. Did you guys get a vibe of what was going on in the lots when you rolled up there?
Yeah, I mean, when we were on our way there, we had the police escort, and I remember getting on the highway and then getting off that exit to like head to the stadium. It was a parking lot, like it was packed, and then once we got on the street leading up to the field, it was people in jerseys, people barbecuing. I'm sure obviously the alcohol was flowing, and
of course
tailgate. So, but it was the whole lead up was phenomenal. Like it was just so cool being on that bus and just seeing everyone in the parking lot, just supporting their teams and coming out for the game. That was really cool.
That's great. Your season so far with the Caps, obviously, I know this seemed like it was a big priority for you in the offseason was to get to a spot where you knew that you were going to be a full-time, NHL goaltender without having to play behind a third guy, didn't have to ride the Springfield Express in St. Louis or anything like that. Has it gone according to plan? Like, is this how you were hoping it to go in terms of the performance and ice time and all that stuff? Like, how's it worked out for you?
Yeah. I mean, I've truly, I've loved everything about it here. Honestly, I have. I was fortunate enough when I signed. I was good buddies with Nick Dowd just from my time at St. Cloud. And he was talking up the organization and just the living, and it certainly exceeded expectations. I've loved living near Arlington here in Virginia, and we got a really, really good group of guys here, great leadership. And we got a competitive hockey team. Obviously you're looking at the season. We're struggling a little bit right now, but every team kind of goes through those ups and downs, and we'll obviously figure it out. But but yeah, just from my point of view, it's been amazing. I've really, really enjoyed my time.
How important was that run that you went on in December? Did you feel towards like establishing yourself just generally, but with the group also? Like that's a big kind of tear to go on that you deservedly got a lot of credit for. I mean, I know the boys were playing well in front of you, but that's a serious run to go on pretty early on in your in your time with the Caps. How did you feel like? Did that set you up for success? I think moving forward, was that important?
Yeah, I mean, you never like to see someone go down, and me and Kuemper, we formed a pretty tight bond throughout the year. And he took that elbow on the penalty kill in Calgary, and concussions, you never know how they're gonna be. But I knew that I had to step up. I mean, that's what you got to do. The backup position can sometimes be tough because you're playing maybe once every 10 days, once every couple of weeks, and once he went down, I knew I was in a situation where I was going to get a good amount of games. So that month of December, it's kind of been back-to-back Decembers for me, even going back to previous year with St. Louis. Right. It's kind of the same deal. I got I got to get rolling a little bit in the NHL, and I think I got into a pretty good rhythm last year in St. Louis, and then this year was the same thing where, I thought played some really good hockey, but I think certainly, the team in front of me, I know, it's cliche, but I mean, I truly mean it. Yeah. I mean, the team in front of me really, that month of December, like we played our best hockey of the year. I think, we deserve to win. I think every game that we played in that month, we're playing that good. But yeah, I think that was big for me just because I don't know how many games I had leading up to that time. But certainly I got a chance to play 8 or 9 games in a row, and just I was able to kind of establish myself a little bit and be able to show my teammates and the coaching staff and everyone in the organization, what I feel I'm capable of. And so that was, I think that was important for me.
Yeah. I mean, you had those 8 or 9 starts in December. I did look it up. You've played in 24 games so far in the season, right? And that's, other than that, you've been in double digits once in your first 7 years. So this is like a serious, a jump in workload maybe that you haven't seen before. And it's been, it's worked out. What is the dynamic? You mentioned Kuemper. What's the dynamic like between the two of you guys? It's always a fascinating thing when you have, a goalie tandem, and some guys give different answers as to how they approach it. But as in the role that you're in, how do you exist kind of in that on a day-to-day basis? Interacting with him and in the roles both you kind of occupy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for the goalies to have a strong relationship, and I think that's something that Kuemper and I we established pretty much right from the get-go. We share the same agents. So Ben Hankinson, I was talking about, he's like, you're going to love Kuemper. He's your kind of guy, that sort of thing. And that's certainly been the case where, once I showed up in DC and he showed up, we really just hit it off. And so, obviously the goaltending position, it can be difficult because it's one spot, it's one crease. But, I know when I signed here and when Kemp signed here, like, he's got quite the pedigree and he's a heck of a goalie. And so, I feel like, I find myself more so in the supporting role where I feel like, I'm always trying to push him and support him. And, whenever I get the crease, obviously I'm trying to, do everything in my power to help the team win. But it's been a fabulous dynamic between Kemps and I. And so it's been awesome.
Like when you talk about supporting him, what does that have? What does that look like? Is there, do you guys go over technique stuff? Because that's always a question that, you hear goalies talk about, we push each other and we support each other and whatever, but functionally, like on a day-to-day basis, like, are you guys going over, opponents' tendencies, or are you going over technique stuff? Like what does the support process look like for both of you on your end?
So I think, and the technique stuff is where Scotty Murray, the goalie coach, comes in. I think he's a big sounding board on that side of things. I'm more so just the kind of the guy in the intermissions that's, saying, keep it going. You're playing great. Like, even last game in Carolina, like, we got down 4-0, but, I felt like he was, doing his part. I thought he was making some big saves. And, in the second intermission, I just said, you can't worry about the score. Just keep on battling, keep on competing. And, that's really it. I think it's more just being a friend, is really what it comes down to. And then obviously when it comes to practicing on the ice together, like I'm a guy that's, loves to compete, loves to work hard. And I think Kemp sees that and respects that. And I think, I see him doing the same thing. So it's been awesome.
Is he as nice as he seems? Because we did the Vegas, preseason tour with him, and the dude was just like, it was 15 minutes of just like ear to ear cheesing from him. He seems like a really, really genuinely nice, happy dude. Is that been your experience?
That's the kind of guy he is. Yeah, he's super, just a really nice guy, really down to earth. Humble. Like he's awesome. Like just I can't. I don't have one issue with the guy. That's been great.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to air your grievances with Darcy Kuemper. I was like, I didn't feel like there'd be many of those.
Yeah,
this is like the obligatory question that I feel like everybody asks anybody who spent any kind of time with the Caps. But what was the Ovechkin introduction like that? Like, did you have a welcome to Caps culture moment with him? Because I know everyone loves talking about that, and they seem like they can be pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean he's a hilarious guy. But my first, I'll never forget kind of the first time I met him. I was laying on a foam roller in the gym, and he came up, and he came to camp a little bit later than a lot of guys. So there was a good amount of us in the gym, but just came up and said, "Hi, I'm Alex," and you're like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I know. But no, he's unbelievable. Honestly, he's just he's a hilarious guy. Like in the tunnel before the games, like his antics is, when guys are like dapping him up or, because he's one of the first ones in the tunnel. Like it's either me or him, and so when I'm starting, I can kind of hear him, what he's saying to everyone behind me. And then it becomes like a every game sort of deal, but it's hilarious. And then, pretty early on, like, he obviously his shots all world, like it's,
how hard does he go on you in practice?
Yeah. So in practice, like he doesn't, it's certainly not like games where he's pounded. I've seen him pound a couple pucks in practice. But there was one time too where it was kind of funny where I'm trying to think, it was either during training camp still or it was early on in the season. So it was just like one of the first drills, just one of a simple shooting drill. But he came in over the blue line, and I saw the puck roll up on him, and he just took a snapshot, and like my cage had a huge dent in it. So I actually I took the cage home. So I got.
I was gonna say, you're like, did you put that in like plexiglass or something?
I know. So I have that cage in my bedroom right now, and I'll have to get him to sign like a piece of paper or something, and just say, this is from Ovechkin.
That's great.
So didn't hurt at all. But pretty cool. It was just hilarious just seeing how big the dent was just from a snapshot. And he come up to me, he's like, "Hey, the puck was rolling." I'm like, "I saw it." Like,
yeah, good. Oh no, I know.
Even if it wasn't rolling, you can do whatever you want. So I don't care.
Yeah, you're like, it's fine. I'm good. I'm here. Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So your family were wild season ticket holders starting in 2000. Is that true? I saw that bit of information that popped up when I was just doing my research here.
Yep. So my dad shared season tickets with like a neighbor. So we would get half the home games. Yep.
So you would have been 7, probably like 6 or 7 or 8.
I was 7 or 8, and so my dad took me to the first ever Wild game against. They played the Flyers, so that was obviously a memory I'll never forget. But yeah, we would go to throughout my childhood, I mean, he would take me and my brothers. There's 2 tickets, so like we would kind of each go maybe
Trade
a couple times a year. Yeah, so that was really cool. I think it was just it's a fun way to grow up when you're going to see the hometown team play.
Totally, and it happened when you were young enough too. Like you probably don't remember, all that well.
Yeah,
anytime when you guys didn't have a team up there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like before 2000. I can't remember. It's really weird to me. Like it's weird to think that Minnesota didn't have an NHL team. Like it blows my mind. But yeah, it's obviously the Wild. They've been there now for 22 years, and they're a staple in the culture, and they have a lot of fan support. But we were all Wild fans growing up for sure.
Your dad still splitting the season package, or is he moved on from
No,
that?
he's done. He's done. So kind of once I left for juniors, so that would have been in what would that have been? Like 2010, so we had him for maybe 10, 15 years, but I think that was it.
That's a good run. Takes you from whatever 7 to 16 or 17.
Yep.
Like that's the important point.
100%. Yep.
All right. I wanted to ask you about the mustache. I know you get asked about that all the time, but we had Chucky Sideburns in St. Louis. we got you rocking the mustache now. Is there a next facial hair configuration that you're going to go to? Is there something in the chamber for next year, or are you just flying by the seat of your pants?
No, I think it's just I think the mustache has kind of become the staple. So I think it's something that I'm just going to keep.
So you're committed to it. That's a look. That's a look you have to commit to.
I'm committed to it fully. So, and it's funny because like my wife's, she's kind of getting tired of it, but it's just like I like the way I kind of look with it, and I had gone. I've been probably a full 18, 19 months now with a mustache. And so even prior to that, like throughout my career, I'd kind of go in spurts too, where I'd have the mustache and then I'd shave it off. And
do you guys have kids yet? That's an important question.
No,
see, that's like that's the big commitment. Cause like if you commit to having a mustache with kids and then you shave it when they're 5 or whatever, they're not going to, you're gonna freak them out. They're gonna wonder who the dude in dad's room is.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, like throughout my hockey career, like at least I'm kind of putting my foot in the ground right now. Like throughout the rest of my hockey career, like I don't see myself not having it. So
that's great.
However long that may be, you'll see me with a mustache, and I think it's funny to me too. Like you look at there's pictures of the old Capitals teams like on the in the hallway and at the game rink, and like you look at obviously the 70s and 80s, like 90% of the team has a mustache, and I was a big fan of like the Ralph Cox and that whole like the Miracle, like I just love the way it looks, the old school kind of mustache, sideburns, that whole look is hilarious to me.
So you got the mustache that you've committed to. You've got a 3-year deal with the Caps.
Yep.
Got the place in Arlington or whatever. You're set. You're putting down roots. You're making big boy decisions here,
yes,
Charlie.
Sir.
That's important.
Yep, 100%. I like where I'm at.
Perfect. I appreciate the time, man. Good luck with the rest of the season, and I'll hopefully catch up with you down the road.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.